Sam McCall is always getting herself into one dangerous situation after another, and sometimes fans worry Sam is leaving General Hospital. Of course, one look back at this woman's long history in Port Charles and you'll realize that she's a survivor. Kelly Monaco has been playing Sam on GH since 2003, although in the summer of 2020 she was temporarily replaced with Lindsay Hartley, and then in January 2022, Hartley stepped in again for a handful of episodes. But no matter what trouble Sam finds herself in, she always comes out the other side stronger than ever. Sam was introduced working with Jasper Jax to find the lucky cards of the dead man's hand. They also had a brief affair, which ended when Jax blamed Sam for his father's death. She then started sleeping with Sonny Corinthus and became pregnant. Jason Morgan claimed the baby was his to protect Sonny's family. Sam began to bond with Jason and they planned to raise the baby together and name it Lila after his grandmother. When Sonny's daughter, Christina Davis, was suffering from a blood disease, her mother, Alexis Davis, begged Sam to induce labor so her daughter could donate stem cells as she was a match for Christina. Sam refused, fearing it could hurt the baby, and during an argument, collapsed and went into labor. When her daughter was stillborn, a heartbroken Sam blamed Alexis. Jason and Sam became engaged and planned to adopt the baby of a teenage mother, but she chose to keep her child. Alexis and Sam had a rough start to their mother-slash-daughter relationship. Howard Wise/JPStudios.com. Jason and Sam were kidnapped by Allegra Montenegro, who wanted Sam to pose as her daughter, Alicia, to marry Andrew Olsen for his money. Sam nearly went to jail when Andrew was murdered, but Alicia was finally arrested for the crime. Sam tried to settle back into her life but was stalked by Manny Ruiz. She was crushed when her brother, Danny, died during an encephalitis outbreak in Port Charles and shocked to then learn she was adopted. Even worse, Alexis turned out to be her biological mother. After Sam was shot by Manny, Jason told Alexis the truth, and the attorney did everything she could to break Sam and Jason up. Upset, Sam got drunk and had a one-night stand with Alexis' husband, Rick Lansing. Television producer Amelia Yaffa hired Sam as the host of a talk show called Everyday Heroes, but really wanted revenge on Sam for killing her father, Bill Monroe. Sam lied to Jason to keep her past under wraps. After learning Jake was really Jason's son, Sam said nothing when she saw the boy get kidnapped. After Jake's rescue, Jason found out she'd been lying to him and they split up. Sam tried to take revenge by seducing Liz's ex-husband, Lucky Spencer, but once he found out about her part in Jake's kidnapping, they broke up. After Sam was run down by a drunk Monica Quartermain, she helped her get a lenient sentence. She also started a pie firm with Damian Spinelli. Sam was relieved to learn Jason was really Danny's father. Howard Wise/JPStudios.com. Sam began to grow close to Jason again and he rescued her when she was kidnapped by the crazed artist, Franco, who was obsessed with Jason. While Jason was protecting Brenda Barrett from the Balkan, Sam was nearly killed in a car bomb meant for Brenda. Sam and Jason got married, but on their honeymoon, Franco stalked them and forced Jason to watch as he supposedly raped Sam. When she later found out she was pregnant, a paternity test showed it was Jason's baby, but Heather Weber revealed Franco and Jason are fraternal twins. Sam was horrified to think Franco fathered her child, and after she gave birth, Todd Manning and Heather swapped the baby with the stillborn son of Taya Delgado. Grieving, Sam pushed Jason away, but they reunited to rescue their son from Heather, naming him Daniel. Jason was shot by Cesar Fison and Sam struggled to accept that he was really dead. When Danny was diagnosed with leukemia, Sam needed a bone marrow donor and asked Alexis about her biological father. It turned out that Derek Wells was a match and his donation saved Danny's life. It also turned out that Derek was actually Julian Jerome, Sam's real father. Sam began dating Silas Clay, then moved on to a relationship with Patrick Drake. However, just after they got engaged, Sam learned that the mysterious Jake Doe was really Jason back from the dead in a new face. Knowing he couldn't compete, Patrick set Sam free and she tried to help Jason get his memories back. Sam suddenly had too much of a good thing. XJJohnson/JPSstudios.com. Once Jason regained his memories, he and Sam were properly reunited and the couple were thrilled when she got pregnant. But after they got married, they also got mixed up with the deadly Olivia Jerome, who was taking revenge on her brother, Julian, by hurting his family. Olivia kidnapped Sam and she was injured trying to escape, giving birth outside in the snow. Jason was there to help welcome their daughter, Emily Scout, into the world, but Sam slipped into a coma shortly after. Sam recovered, but her world went topsy-turvy again when the real Jason returned to Port Charles, and it was revealed that the former Jake Doe was really his twin brother, Drew Kane. Sam committed to Drew and Jason backed off. They got married and became co-owners of Aurora Media. But it was clear Sam's feelings for Jason hadn't gone away, and after an earthquake, she confessed her love. Drew stepped down to allow Sam to make her decision, and she chose to be single for a while, weighing her options. After a while, Sam couldn't resist the pull to reunite with Jason, but things were complicated by the arrival of the Dawn of Day organization in Port Charles. With Christina having been sucked into the group, Sam worried it was a cult, so she and Jason worked to expose its leader, Shiloh, as a criminal. Sam went undercover in DOD and was very nearly drugged and raped by Shiloh, but Jason rescued her. After a dangerous game of cat and mouse with the cult leader, Sam shot Shiloh dead as he threatened to kill Jason. Unfortunately, Shiloh's minions tried to get her convicted of murder and the judge ended up finding Sam guilty of manslaughter, sentencing her to 2 years behind bars. Sam made sure Shiloh went out with a bang. ABC. Thankfully, Sam was able to get out on parole, but she was informed she couldn't have associations with a known criminal like Jason, and her parole officer, Dolores, was extremely vigilant. The couple was only able to meet when dealing with their children, but were secretly getting together for a while until Jason worried about her being sent back to prison and told her they had to back off. Meanwhile, Sam was busy working with Spinelli to reveal that Peter August was the one who had tried to kill Franco and Andre and was mixed up in Drew and Franco's kidnapping and mind swap. Sam agreed to give Valentine Cassidy her children's ELQ voting shares in exchange for help getting rid of her nosy parole officer, so Jason was able to move back in with his family following his motorcycle accident. Sam was upset to learn that her mother was drinking again and tried to stage an intervention for Alexis, but it sadly failed. Then, Jason and Danny were nearly killed when a bomb was set off at the Floating Rib. Upset to learn that her father had planted the explosive, Sam also feared for the safety of her children and asked Jason to keep his distance. Sam joined forces with Olivia to help prove Alexis had been set up for her drunk driving charge and then helped stop Dante Falconeri from shooting Peter. She also agreed to help Dante protect Maxie from Peter, but when Jason escaped from prison, Sam and Dante found themselves on opposite sides. However, sparks flew between them and Sam and Dante shared a kiss on the 4th of July. Sam and Dante enjoyed a different kind of fireworks on the 4th of July. ABC. Sam agreed to help Sean Butler investigate what really happened to Hayden Barnes, but then she got a phone call from someone sounding like Drew asking for her help. As she probed into Drew's supposedly fatal plane crash, she suspected the two cases could be connected. Dante and Sam decided to pursue a romance and teamed up to go to Greece and track down Drew. Once he was back in Port Charles safe and sound, Sam was stunned to learn that Jason was presumed dead during the rescue. After consummating her relationship with Dante, Sam helped Drew reconnect with their daughter, Scout. Stay tuned to see how Sam's life continues. Love GH? Be sure to join our We Love General Hospital Facebook group to chat about all the latest storylines and juicy gossip. Ad block test, why?